Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I knew that whenever my mother was pregnant with me, my father was still married to a lady named Garnita. My mother was going to have me aborted, but Garnita divorced my father and told him to go marry my mother. My mother and father got married. They had me, and then they had my brother. And then after a few years, they separated. But Garnita was always there. She would write me letters. She would come pick me up for the weekends. She stayed in my life. She was there the day I was born. But throughout my childhood up until I was 6, it was a little rough because I was still with my mother and father. In my early 20s, I started hanging around with a lot of bikers, and I started cocaine and started drinking really heavily. When she passed away, I think that's when I truly lost me. I lost my identity. We ended up divorcing. I saw myself turning into my parents. And then the more I saw myself turning into my parents, the deeper I got into drinking. And then I got on pain medicine from the doctors. I buried things. That's how I processed things, was just stuffing them. That's when things got violent. It was a dangerous, very dangerous situation. I knew that one of us was going to end up dead. And we were there for just a few weeks before I ended up getting a DUI. I mean, I just lost my way. I was still trying to get my kids back, but I had so much hurt and pain. And I knew if I could make it in those doors at Shepherd's Gate, if I could make it to God, I was good. Because I had told my lawyer that it had to be faith-based, because I knew I'd tried everything else. And I made it through those front doors.
Dana and I both got at Shepherd's Gate at about the same time. We were both just not in our right minds, you know, coming off of drugs and alcohol.
My mental state, I was scared, I was confused, I was lost. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know who to turn to.
Shepherd's Gate is here. We're here for anybody. So many of them come from abuse, domestic violence with husbands, addiction, mental health, and Christ is the answer. Do partnering agencies help us? Yes, they do. But the answer that's going to always be there at 2 o'clock in the morning when they can't get a hold of a partnering agency is Christ.
They helped me to, settle down some. I needed that guidance. I needed that structure. They surround you with love.
When somebody reaches out for help, you have like a very short window of where they're like, okay, I want to do this. Because if they don't get somewhere, they're just going to use again. I think it's very important that they have a safe place to go where they can, as long as they're detoxed and are able to, that just to come and wait for Renewal.
Dana was here for, I believe, 6 weeks before she went to Renewal. Their big life skill, those who were waiting for Renewal, was and still is, because we still house ladies that are waiting for the pre-program at Renewal, is to work down in the kitchen, because you're learning how to be a team player, you're learning how to follow instruction, so it's skills that will help them down the road.
Dana and I didn't always get along, but we just grew together, and to watch her grow in Christ has just been like the craziest thing. She is a completely different person.
Wow, the change is just from night to day. All of the things that she's done, she completed renewal, she went to transition, she went over to Grace Housing. So she just keeps taking the next right step, and I'm so proud of her.
We have mothers that are coming out of addiction with children, or either they're pregnant. They are all little miracles, and the women are miracles. I love those women. God has blessed me above and beyond. He has stayed with me. He has followed me throughout my life. He has never let me go. His fingerprints are from one end to the other, from before He formed me in my mother's womb.